Okay, welcome back, everybody. So as we're talking about the 3 levels of autism. So in level 1, autistic children in level 1 will require support, but then not compared to the others. So some of their features is that they require understanding and following social rules. You have to explain certain rules to them. In school, you have to let them know why it's time for lunch or it's time to move from this activity to that. Yes, you have to let them know what's the next step to be able to manage around their daily activities. They have rigid and inflexible behavior, so that is why they require assistance to understand certain routines and change. And then some stress during transitions, the same thing. So to move from one activity to another, there could be lots of meltdowns and tantrums. If the child is playing with a toy, or maybe it's time to bath, then excessive meltdown, that cannot be controlled.
Okay.
And then we come to level 2.
Miss Okyere, please, we have Madame Abobo Vivian's hand up.
Okay.
Please unmute and ask your question or make your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. My network was breaking, so I wanted to make a contribution on the myths, saying that autism is a new thing. Actually, it's not new, but because previously, children who had autism, especially those with the severe cases, were not brought out to. They don't take them out. They leave them at home. Some even in some communities, these children could be sent to shrines and other things that they never return. So that aspect of the children coming out to join society.
Hello.
Miss, you're audible.
Okay, I think she got the network problem, but thank you very much.
Yeah, so because of my network, yeah. So because of that, people think that it is a new thing, but it's not. It has always been with us for a long time now, but just that exposure wasn't there. So people who had them, because the society too don't accept these children, that support system in our communities is not actually there. In many communities, they don't get the support. Parents don't get support from society, so they keep these children indoors. So people didn't know about them. And now that with education and other things, they are coming out. That's why they thought it was not there, but they have always been autism in the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other contributions, please? I really love it.
Yeah. Good evening once again. Please, can I talk?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I know of a child who, when she was born from the beginning, that's why I asked that from the beginning you did not notice it, but you are saying that there are signs the person couldn't pay attention to. But at the age of 5, at the age of 4, she couldn't walk. All the legs were straight, like the muscles were so stiff. Her teeth started breaking off and discoloring.
Okay.
The eyes turned something else. She can't bend the hands. So what that person did was a senior sister told the person that you should just bring the child to their village.
Okay.
And when I asked her, she said the sister said she has gone to see that child off.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, she went to see that child off. That is what they told me. And upon investigation, they just buy certain food items. And I can remember somebody telling me that they suspected the child to be a snake.
Goodness.
So they bought certain types of food and then went and lay her under a certain big tree in the forest, and they left her there. Because
so
before her leg became straight, her teeth was, you can't even carry the child at your back.
Yeah.
And that is what they did. They said she's a snake and something else because she went into somebody's husband. So many things. So I don't know. That's what they did.
Those are some of the myths. Normally, we really put input the spiritual aspect. So the moment something like that happened, they blame the mother or the father for indulging in rituals. Yes, because back then, as our dear contributor said previously, that it wasn't really, the information wasn't out there like now. Yes, but that's very, very sad. Very sad. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You are welcome, madam.
Please, a quick one. Madam Joyce, so where is the child now? Or what's the condition of the child? Have they brought him or her back home?
No, she didn't come back again. They said they have just seen her off. And that she was a snake. And then they bought some food items and went and lay a mat there, put a child on it. Because I was there, the friend told me that the senior sister said they should bring the child. And they are going to see her off because she's not a normal human being. But in the beginning, we are friends in church. We gave birth together in the same month. Her baby was doing so well. She was very beautiful. But getting to the age of 1, we started seeing that changes in her. So at the age of 3, getting to 4, her legs and her hands all became very straight. Her teeth started breaking off. They can't even carry the child at their back. They started sending her to school. They were a bit supportive. When she passed the age of 4, they couldn't contain the child again. In fact, they changed about 3 or 4 schools. So the friend was saying that the senior sister said they should bring her so that they will see that child off. She's not a normal human being. She's a snake. And that is what they did. They put a mat under. The friend couldn't give me all the narration, but I did my own investigation and got to know that that's what they did. So the child never came, but we didn't see her again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Whatever descriptions that you made, it's features of cerebral palsy. Yes, it's also a disorder due to brain damage. It affects the muscles, affects movement. Yes. So it's not a neurological one. That one has to do with movement, the spine and the muscles.
Okay, please, we have Madame Abobo Vivian's hand up again. And then Dr. Anum, please, would you like to ask a question or make a contribution? Thank you. Okay, Miss Autry, please, you may proceed so that if there's any, yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. So we're looking at the levels of autism. So level 1 does not really require so much support. You just need to guide them little by little in their daily routine, and then they are fine. But then they still lack the social skills. They'll have the inflexible behaviors, which is changing from one routine to the other. So you have to be coaching them from time to time. And then we can talk of the level 2. They require more support compared to the first one. They have high interest in specific topics. They like walking away. They don't really like to mingle so much. The moment they see crowd, you see them drawing away from it. Yes. And then they normally go into frequent distress. That's when you see them rocking, the spinning, the flapping of the hands and all, which becomes very excessive when they are not comfortable in that social environment. Then we come to the level 3, which is very severe. They don't speak nonverbal because they lack total communication. And then that they also have the rocking, the spinning, repetitive behaviors. If this is the toy, they arrange the toy and then bring them back together, arrange again. They'll be on that particular activity for quite a long time. Yes. And then they also have the extreme distress when they ask to switch from tasks, since they want to be stuck with one activity. That's what makes them comfortable. Yeah. So that's about the levels of autism. But then in all, they all have challenges. They have challenges when it comes to speech. Some have speech, some do not. When it comes to the challenges, they have the general one is having difficulties in engaging with their peers. They don't understand social norms like, oh, I need to share with my friend. If there's something my friend is having and I want it, I need to ask, or there's something I have to do to get it. Just go and then snatch. And then they don't understand when somebody is frowning, someone is angry, they have no idea what is going on. But then they have abilities as well. Some can really advance in vocabs. They at young age, you see them able to identify their letters, their numbers. Some read at very young age. That's one of the abilities that they have. And then they have unique talents. There's one boy I know who is non-verbal, but then really loves to paint. When you give him the opportunity to paint, you really see beautiful pictures coming out of that. Any questions or any contributions up to this point before we move? Okay, then we are moving to why it's important to intervene. Why it's so important that we have to take the child for diagnosis and then have plans drawn as to how to help them overcome. So one is neuroplasticity and then critical periods. That's such a big word. But then as we are growing with our daily activities, the brain changes. It adapts to whatever that we introduce to it. So it's advised that the moment you find out a child is autistic, you need to take the child for assessment, and then we start to give him him or her therapy, whether it's speech or the occupational one, so that the brain can form in the right way that we want it to be. And then we can go to the social and emotional development. One of the features is that they have difficulties interacting. So the moment they will be able to intervene very fast, we can help them overcome all those social disorders.
like that.
Hello. Okay, then I move on. Early intervention reduces parental stress and anxiety. But the moment you find out that this is what my child is going through, there's lots of stress. What to do? Is my child going to be okay? What if in the future I'm not around? How are they going to cope and all? But then if they are intervened very early, the necessary help will be given that by the time they are adults, they can live independently, just like anybody else. And then we can talk of access to intervention services. If you're able to take your child for diagnosis, and the directions will be made to where to seek for help. The pedics are there, the psychologists are there, the occupational therapists are also there to help, the speech therapists are all there to help support. And then we can talk of the preventing secondary challenges. So a lady who contributed gave the instance of the child being sent to the bush, for instance. I always say that in the 4-year-old, there's always early signs. Early signs. So if you're able to figure them out and then seek for help, it stops others from adding up. Because the moment you leave it like that, there are others that develop, other signs, it becomes heightened, and then trying to curb it is very hard. And then we go to educational planning and inclusion. So if you're able to diagnose, we can draw the child's individualized plan for him or her so that they can also fit in the school system and live comfortably. And then we can talk of cost effectiveness. The earlier, the better. Because the more you wait, the more the features or the signs heightens, and then it's going to be cost effective, costly when it comes to time, even time, and then also finances. So we always advise that the little signs that you see that your child is growing, there are milestones that they've reached, they have to get, they are not getting. Seek for help immediately. If you go and then they say there's nothing wrong, then it's fine. You've got nothing to lose. Instead of just second guessing yourself and letting it escalate to other issues. Okay. Any contributions or experiences in here or questions? Okay, so on the final, I would say that autism is not a limitation. It's not limiting the child in any way. Yes, they might have difficulties, but then that's what we said, that if we intervene early, be able to overcome those challenges. And then also, they have a different way of experiencing the world. The way they will see things might be different from us. And there are positive aspects of it as well. People who are autistic, they are very ethical and honest. They don't know how to lie. Yes. And then they have attention to detail, since they like to show interest in a particular thing or object for a long time. They really love to have attention in those things. They are always on time. They are time conscious when they grow. And there's one child that for some reason he knows I have lunch at this point. So if sessions exceed that time, you see him throwing tantrums, reacting. You see the rocking coming in. You see the flapping and the screaming, just to prompt you that I think it's time for us to eat. So lesson has to be over. So they are very time conscious, even at younger ages. And then we can talk of they are humorous. They have unique ways of looking at the world. Does somebody want to speak? Okay. So they have a strong moral compass. As I said, they are very honest people. And then they thrive on structure. You have to give them routine. You have to give them routine for them to understand that, oh, when I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth. From there, I do this, I do that. You don't just leave them. It gets them very anxious and stressed. So they rather thrive on structure and routine. Okay. Any questions up to this point? Or any more contributions to add up? Any experiences?
Okay, Dr. Anum, please, we have your hand raised up. Please share your.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I have to do some things, so I missed some parts. But I have this, this, I don't know whether it's question or contribution. These days, the number of this autism is increasing. And I can't say whether it's a correlational increase. With this TV, these children who sit before the TV for a long time, and then they become used to the TVs and then these toys that they watch, and then they become used to that. Then in effect, they start having like these visual problems. Now with this language difficulties that they tend to, or deficit that they tend to have, is this related? Have you done a search to know whether it's related to this TV and these children's school that they look at? Because there are some of the children, when you are talking to them, as if they are not hearing you. But when they put these TVs on, they can take listen to that. But when you are calling them and talking to them, no, as if they are dead. Have you had any experience, whether it's correlational or non-correlational?
Oh, it is. We have virtual autism as well. We can have a child who is quite okay from birth, but then is introduced to the screen. The screens, have according to research, has multiple colors and senses, and you can observe that when they are watching, their attention is so focused on it that when they are called, they are not even able to pay attention and respond. Yes. So the more they watch, the more their attention is turned to colors. So if you bring them to the social world, it doesn't really become interesting like the TV.
Oh, yes.
The TV or the colors that they're emitting. So it just brings about all that delayed speech and, as we said, the social challenges. And then also we have virtual autism as well. That is caused by screens. So we normally advise that you take the kids off the screen. And even if you want them to, it shouldn't be for a long time. It shouldn't be for a long time. But then if you find out that a child is autistic, we normally advise no screen.
But one problem is, today, it has become like a fashion for young mothers, and I will lay emphasis on young mothers, not the elderly ones. The fashion to give their phones and then open these toys to their kids. Then the whole day they will sit by it. What's the advice or what are you going to do about that? And how are you going to confirm? How are you going to advocate? Anything otherwise?
That's one of the things we are doing now. So the education, we let them know some of the impacts that's going to have on the child's life. Most mothers, they want time for themselves. So in the quest of wanting to have the me time, they hand over and then enjoy their life. But then, as we said, they are not informed of the consequences. Yeah.
Because
in my
with
school
this,
sessions, for instance, I would advise a parent that when you are taking the child to school in the car, take the tablet or talk about things around. You see cars, you see trees. All those are a way to build the child's vocabs. From school in your car, you can still talk about what happened in school, what made them sad, what made them happy. Even if the child is not a verbal, you can tell the child about your day. And then with time, you see that they get to know how to interact with people.
so as an NGO, we are doing more advocacy. This other problem of social isolation by these children. Parents, today young parents, are also isolating themselves socially. Husband from wife, wife from husband. And then they are also fixed on WhatsApp. And when they are fixed on WhatsApp, then they give the child also this one, and they are also fixed there. Are we not? Or are they not? Because me, I'm a grandpa now, so I'm not looking at it. But are they not destroying our future society? So that we can have more advocates for that, especially in the schools. And then maybe arranging with parent teacher association in this schools, especially the international or the Montessori schools and all those type of things. So that they become aware. Because if this thing happens, it's affecting the children. And then doctors are in trouble.
Really is.
And what program are you having so that you can actually get to the school?
Say again. Say
again,
please.
A program so that you can have a program for the parents and get them at the PTAs in the various schools, especially in the international schools, the Montessori schools, and the schools.
Yes, yes. We actually do that. In April is normally Autism Awareness Month, and we normally do that. We go to churches, we go to the PTA, as you have said, but then, and also we need more advocates. Their hands are few. We need more to help spread it. Thank you.
Okay, so please a quick one. Let me just come in briefly. With the proposal, it's actually Dr. Anum, please, your proposal about us advocating and also creating awareness about all this. Actually, Miss Gifty, actually, we are working on having flyers done where if you need us in your church, if you need advocacy or any lecture on autism, she'll be available to come in. So I'll be sharing her flyers as well once it's ready. She's preparing towards April's Autism Day this year. So all that would as well be communicated on our various platforms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Abobo, please, your hand is up again. We have barely 5 minutes to end today's session, please.
With the awareness, I want to talk about the awareness. When I made my earlier on contribution, I talked about people not being aware of this thing, and they end up sending some away. See, immediately after my contribution, the lady who came in also mentioned that thing. It's a serious issue. And like those of us who are educated, we have learned about this thing and it's helping. But those who have not had any form of formal education, and they don't even know about this thing. So the least thing people say, they say, oh, let's go here, let's go here. So you end up going with the children to so many places, to
So many
churches, to
places.
shrines for
Prayer
prayers
camp.
and all that. Sometimes they confuse you because as I speak, I have a child with autism, so I know what I'm talking about. So it is
Okay.
not an easy thing to have a child with autism. If you don't show them that love, patience, you cannot train them in the society because we don't have people in the society to help. Even in schools, my child was in a school and a safety supervisor came to the school and said, that child doesn't fit to be in that school. I'm telling you, so this child, the head found a way to let me take the boy home. So it's not easy. Parents who have children like this in communities that are not in the rural areas, it's not easy. They are going through a lot. So with this kind of advocacy, if we have a radio station that you can speak the local language for people to hear and know that this thing is not a case, children like this, they also have a talent that if we show them that love and patience, we can train them. So at a point, you see parents get confused because what other people are saying will just not let you even think. You can't even think because you are not getting that support from them. They are rather trying to even blame you. Some are trying to say things, even when you are struggling to make it in life, they even want to say you have used the child for something. It's a lot. Parents with children with autism, they go through a lot. So this thing that you are doing, in fact, God bless you. I pray that you'll be able to reach out more so that parents who have children like this would rather see them as a blessing and not a case. So I'm very happy to be part of this evening Zoom meeting, and I pray you'll be able to reach out more. God give you the strength to do this for us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Abobo. Okay, so please, I'm leaving my number so you reach out to us, and then we can as well attend to you and then share our flyers as soon as it's ready for the April train to create awareness about autism. So we have Madam Maria Asari, a boy's hand up.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I had actually posted a chat and I realized it's not being looked at. So I had to raise my hand. And I wanted to, first of all, apologize for not being able to join earlier. So I actually missed the presentation. And my question on the chat was, how can a parent tell at what age do you see signs of autism? Since I missed the lecture, perhaps you already have some notes you share, but if not, can there be a quick summary for those of us who are not able to start with you at the very beginning, at least to have a gist of what to watch out for or how to counsel? Thank you.
Yes, sure. Glad you do that. So it can be detected as early as 18 months old, but then by 6 months, you see that the child will have limited or no eye contact, will lack social smile. If you try to play with them like peekaboo, they don't, we expected that children that age would smile the moment you are playing peekaboo games with them, but then child with autism or exhibiting signs of autism will not respond to that. And then by 9 months, it's expected that the child will be able to hear his or her name when mentioned. But then at 9, if they are not responding to their name or sharing sounds or smiling to you when you're smiling or playing, as I said before. And then also we can talk of the babbling, pointing, the waving, to be able to say bye-bye. So by 1 year, if the child is not doing all these things, then it should be alarmed and then try to seek for clarification or help. Yes. And then also you can by 16 months, 1 year, 4 months there, there's no single word. The mama, the dada, the they say they are water in other ways, funny ways, but then they are still bringing something else for you to know that this is what I want or this is what I'm saying. But then at that time, there's nothing of that. And then we talked about the flapping of the hand. Some scratch, some will just lick just anything, pick anything and put them in their mouth. It's typical of babies, but then as they grow, certain things leaves. But then if they are growing and then it's still there, then we need to seek for help.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh. Are there any other people? Oh, any more questions or any more contributions?
Let me ask this mental retardation that you talk about, that is associated with autism. How can you actually differentiate it from other causes of mental retardation?
Can you please repeat what you said?
I was saying that mental retardation in the autistic children, how will you differentiate it from other causes of mental retardation?
Can you please give an example to the other mental retardation that you're trying to?
Those of cerebral palsy, those who suffer hypoxia during delivery, and then they tend to develop that. How will you differentiate that? Is it primary or secondary cause?
They are all distinct in their own ways. We have some that are under neurodevelopmental. They are neurodevelopmental, as in has to do with the brain. So when you take autism, for instance, it's a neurodevelopmental disorder. It has to do with the brain and its function. When you take ADHD, for instance, it's the same thing, and certain learning disabilities all fall under the neurodevelopmental disorders. And then we can talk about the genetics. Some that falls under genetics has to do with the DNA being passed on from parents to child. So you can talk of the cerebral palsy, for instance. It's under the genetics one.
Okay, Dr. Anum, I think we are going to have to address this aspect in a different session.
Yes, it entails a lot.
It entails a lot, like Ms. Okyere has said. So we are going to have to reschedule. There is going to actually be a part 2 of this autism session. Hopefully, we'll be updated as we usually do, as we've always done. On this note, please, Ms. Okyere, kindly conclusions on your presentation.